All right, so in this first section of the class, we're going to talk about audio recording, and uh, we're going to start with how to get everything set up. So there's a lot of setup things that you're going to want to do. Make sure you have configured right. Some of them we touched on and kind of looked at the kind of quick version in the first class, the first Live 11 class earlier. We're going to go into more detail now and make sure we have everything really configured right. We're going to talk about additional hardware that's outside of Live that you're going to need, like an audio interface. We'll talk about microphones, mic placement, dealing with latency, um, monitoring, and then actually tracking in Live, both in session view and arrangement view. So this first section is going to be a lot of stuff, from hardware setup all the way down to recording a good signal. So let's start with hardware needs. Before we jump into this first video on what you want to get for hardware, let me just say that, in my opinion, a lot of this hardware that we're going to talk about, when we talk about something like an audio interface that we'll get to in just a second, an audio interface can run you anywhere from $100 to get a good audio interface. Well, that would be a cheap audio interface, all the way to $20,000 to get a high-end audio interface. Um, unless you're recording like an orchestra, you don't need a $20,000 audio interface. Um, don't think you need to get the best hardware for this stuff. Um, if you can afford it, get something nice, but you can get a really nice audio interface for $1,000, or less. For $500, you can get a pretty nice one. But what's the difference in sound quality between a $500 one and a $100 one? Not a lot. I mean, it's pretty small, I would say, probably. So keep that in mind as we go over these options, that you can really get by with uh, a pretty low entry point for some of this hardware, and then work your way up. As you maybe start getting some gigs doing recording, you can increase your, get a better interface, get some better microphones, stuff like that. So, um, with that disclaimer, let's get into uh, the hardware that you're going to want to have in order to do good audio recording.